Welcome everyone again to the next session after our lunch break. I hope you had an amazing time earlier today when we had our first four session, the welcome session, the session by Sharon, Karen, and the panel, the explosive panel session in the morning. Welcome everyone once again. I hope you had a great time during your lunch time. I want you to do something for me in the chat. Just tell me, this check-in that I put in this activity. Tell me where you are in the world. Just drag it to where you are in the world on the map there. Great, great. So our speaker is around now. He's here ready for us, Ebunoluwa. So I'm going to be welcoming him to take us in the next learning journey. So let's give him some great buzz as we welcome Ebon. Let's use I always say use the react option where you have sound option and emoji options. Ebon, welcome Ebon. So over to you. Great.
Thank you so much. Please confirm you can hear me.
Clearly, can hear you
All
clearly.
right, great. Good to have everyone on the call. Good afternoon. It's afternoon here in Nigeria. Most of the things we've been discussing right from the beginning of this e-learning conference will be playing in the course of the session that we're actually going to be discussing in a few minutes' time. I'm just going to quickly post a short poll. Going to display that any moment from now. I just want us to just give me the right reaction. Okay. Absolutely. I'm doing that right about now. So let's get responses. We are discussing fostering mentorship and internal coaching. And it's more of personalized learning, fostering internal coaching and mentoring program in our organizations in our respective space. And that's why we just want to quickly take this poll to know how many of us actually currently have a mentorship program in our company. You currently have a mentorship program in your company. Okay, I can see responses coming in. I can see seven. Okay, seven. Actually, you don't have three. Only three have a mentorship program. Great stuff. Great stuff. I think this session is the right class for you. Can we have more responses? I have 16 participants on the call at the moment. I have 16 participants. Let's have more responses. Okay, I think more people are joining. I can see more people joining the session. Let's have more responses. Let's have more responses. 13 people have responded so far out of 17. 13 out of 17. Great. So for those of us that already have a mentorship program, let's see how we can actually fine tune it and make it better. Let's see some of other new elements that we can bring on board to make the mentorship and the coaching program more productive. And we're also going to be discussing the difference between coaching and mentorship so that we can be able to actually apply the right method in our respective organizations. Can we have more responses? I have 3 people left that are yet to respond. I have 14 responses so far. All right, great stuff. Okay, I can see more. I can see more coming in now. Okay, I think I have more people that do not have a mentorship program in the organization. Okay, great stuff. Thank you so much. Thank you for the responses. So once again, my name is Ebunoluwa Jidonu, and I've been in the development space for almost a decade now, and I've actually been through the whole value chain of learning and development in terms of external client engagements and internal client engagements. And I'm coming here today to just share with us some of the things I've discovered in my short space of actually administering and managing the knowledge management of organizations, both internal and external. And I've actually also been part of administering mentorship and coaching program, both as a consulting program and also for internal clients or internal staff members. That's for the organization. And I'm going to begin these two perspectives into play. I know we've discussed the consultancy part of this conference today earlier in the morning, and I'm going to be making some references to some of the things that we discussed in the course of the consultancy space. But first and foremost, let's just try to establish an understanding of the concept of mentorship and coaching. Just a minute, I'm trying to share my screen now. Okay. All right. Okay, so personalized learning, fostering internal coaching, and mentoring program. This is an important aspect of a learning and development journey in every organization. And one of the things I always want to hear people say when it comes to internal staff members is them having the ability to actually be able to do their job effectively. You know, I've seen organizations set targets and give some very huge goal for employees. And on my own side, as a learning and development practitioner, I want to understand, okay, what are those ways through which employees can be empowered, or how can we build a culture of learning that helps employees to continuously be able to achieve the set goal and continue to also grow in their professional career. And that's one of the important aspects of this conference today that I'll be talking about, and it's strictly on coaching and mentoring program, which is internal program for your organization. And as an learning outcome, some of the things that we should achieve at the end of this training program is that we should be able to establish a culture of knowledge transfer, which is paramount to the industry already experienced and learned by the mentor. So there should be a system that helps the transfer of knowledge from the experienced individual in your organization to the less experienced one, so that people can keep growing and we can have a succession plan in the system. And to also help you build a resilient workforce for business growth. We want a business to keep growing, and that is why we actually bring this session on board in the course of this conference. And also it will also help others acquire and create and apply organizational knowledge that will lead to informed decision and enhance personal success, and also improve employee engagement and retention. You know, this is, we want employees to actually feel part of the system, and that's why this particular learning methodology is actually very important for every organization, and also sure to enhance employees' personal and professional development. So it's not just about the developments in the organization, but in terms of their career also, they should be able to develop and see their peers in the industry and see that, okay, they're actually matching up to the standard in that particular industry. And finally, it will help break communication barriers and develop ties across the organizational level. Now, let me start by saying this. I'm going to just pause my slide sharing for a few minutes. What are, for those of you that work with an organization, what are your external clients? What are they saying about your organization? What are the feedback about your organization in terms of your product, in terms of your service delivery, in terms of your professionalism? What are the customers? What are your external clients? What are they saying about your organization? Can we just put it in the chat box, please? Just put it in the chat box. Comments, chat box. What are your external clients saying about your organization? What are they saying? What are external clients saying about your business? What are they saying about your organization? Just put it in the chat box. I can see, okay. And say it's typing. What are they saying about your business? What are they saying about your operations? What are they saying about your staff? What are they saying about your operations? What are they saying about your business? Okay, they love my organization service delivery. Ops, great stuff, great stuff. Thank you. Good service, attention to detail, exceeds expectation. Okay, thank you. Can I have more? What are they saying about your business? What are they saying about your service? What are they saying about your operations? What are they saying about your staff? More comments. We have 20 participants on the call. What are you saying about your organization? I'm sure we have L&D practitioners, business owners on this call. Poor feedback. Okay, thank you for being honest, Molola. Thank you. Okay, I think Zelda is as a training provider, a mentoring program with workplace manager is what makes the training work. Okay, professional service. Thank you, Adeli. Thank you, professional service. Okay, thank you for that. Now let's come to your internal client, and that's why most of us we have restricted our clients to just the external clients. But I want us to understand today that we have both the external clients and the internal clients, and that's where L&D practitioners come to play. Training providers, that's where you come to play. So for you that you are internal learning and development professional, what are your internal clients, which are your employees? What are they saying about your organization? What are the employees saying about your organization? Let's have feedbacks. What are your employees saying about your organization? What are the feedbacks from your internal clients? When I say internal clients, I mean the employees of your organization. What are they saying? I'm waiting. What are the employees saying? I'm going to be displaying some practical templates that will help us to actually be able to improve knowledge management and transfer of knowledge within the system. But let's get to hear what your employees are saying. Okay, good culture, okay, employee-centric organization, employee-centric, great stuff. They concentrate on employees, okay? Olama, thank you. We need to improve our customer satisfaction, okay? What are employees saying? Highly collaborative, need better onboarding, though as most hires are graduates. Okay. Shared services, highly collaborative. Great stuff. Great stuff. Can we have more? What are the internal employees saying? I've not seen anything that has to do with empowerment in terms of empowering the employees themselves. Do they feel empowered? Do they feel empowered? I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. They are just speaking from the organizational perspective. Do they feel empowered as an employee? Do they feel empowered? Okay. Youngsters are worried that do not have the knowledge and expertise. Thank you. Thank you, Ziman. Thank you, Ziman. This is what I want to hear. They don't feel empowered. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the knowledge and the expertise of the engineers who are about to retire. Great stuff. Yes, empowered because the workplace mentors are being managed. Okay, great stuff, Rose. Great stuff. Great stuff. I can see you have a working coaching and mentoring system in place. Great stuff. Can we have more? Can we have more? Just few more, few more. Then I can go back to my slide. Few more, few more. Okay, I can see more comments coming in. Work body, great stuff, great stuff. The body system. Okay, okay, so I can see. So, and there's the reason why I'm asking about your internal clients is because the session we are about to look into will cater for your internal clients. It's not just about your external clients. The external clients are saying good stuff about your business, perhaps because your employees are actually having some other work related advantage and benefits. But in times of empowerment, in times of they actually giving that feedback, are they benefiting? Are they getting that empowerment enough for them to actually do better so that the feedback you're getting from your external clients can improve? And that is one of the most important aspects of coaching and mentoring. It is very, very critical. It should be part of the culture. And that's what speaks to the learning culture that we are talking about. So we have different forms of learning. But when we talk about coaching and mentoring, it is an aspect that also help us to actually do better inside of organization and help us improve on the experience of the employees. And then they can be able to do better. I'm just going to share my slide again quickly. Going back to my slide. All right. Now, you have just expressed your points. Now, let me play this short audio clip and then listen to what some individuals have said about the coaching and the mentoring system in the organization. Then please adapt this to your own organization also and try to get feedback. How do they feel ever since they joined the firm? How do they feel?
I don't trust my coach. There was a time I spoke with my coach about something and I heard it from someone else. I can't trust the coaching system.
My coach does not feature in my mind. He's not my first point of call when I have any issue. Why?
They said I'm not visible enough. What does that even mean? My coach can't even give me an explanation for that.
They lied. What they told me during the interview was different from what I met.
My coach is never available for us to talk.
My coach does all the talking and I do all the listening during the coaching session.
You know what? The only time I felt listened to was when I was leaving. I guess they all wanted to show care.
I've been in the firm for over 9 months and I haven't received any coaching.
All right, so let me get feedback. Let me get feedback. Were you able to get the audio? Was it sound enough? Please confirm. Please confirm in the chat box. Okay, great, great, great. I can see thumbs up. I can see thumbs up. Now, these are feedbacks from employees of an organization in times of the coaching system. It's a serious matter. Thank you for that. Thank you, my Buddha. Thank you. It's a serious matter. Some people, they feel cared for only when they are leaving the fair. Whereas this should be part of the culture. We should be interested in the growth and the professional development of every employee, of every individual in the fair. So it's a serious matter. It's a serious matter. Thank you for that comment. Thank you for that comment. So these are feedbacks from some organizations. Now go back and then try to find out what exactly are the internal clients saying about the organization. What are they saying about the organization? So we're going to make good use of this session to look at some templates and how we can actually build an internal coaching and mentoring system in our respective organization, so that people can actually feel cared for. They can feel that, yes, the organization is concerned about their development, their career development, their professional development, their achievements, their growth, while they are still in the firm and not when they are exiting the firm. I'm going back to my slide now, just a minute. Okay. All right, now, what are some of the activities in these areas you can include in a development plan? Now, these are so many areas of how people develop. We have some that give 70% of that achievement, that development that we are looking for in our people. And the 70% comes from experience. It comes from experience, expanding their network skills, representation, gaining visibility, giving them new responsibility and enlarging the role of responsibility. So we can look at all of the broad areas and see from what perspective, from what areas am I going to actually bring about that experience. And that's why we talk about experiential training. So for those that are training providers, there must be experiential training, case study scenarios that brings that experience into the subject matter that we are discussing. But for today, we are looking at the 20% that comes from mentoring, that comes from cultivated relationship, that comes from shadow, a role model, that comes from coaching. This actually had about 20% to how people develop in the firm. And this 20% is very, very significant. In some scholars will have established that 10% of what we learn in schools comes from education. 10% of what we have learned in school is what we can actually apply in the corporate world. But what we are trying to expose here, we have left the education aspects. There is good for us to have learning programs. It's good for us to have training programs, self-study program in the system. But part of what brings about development for the people is mentoring and coaching. And that's what brings about 20%. So that 20% is what every individual on this call today wants to add to what they are currently delivering in terms of their people development. That's what we are trying to add today. So let's move forward. Now, let's conceptualize the definition of mentoring quickly. I'm going to do this quickly. Mentoring is a collaborative learning relationship between two individuals or more that leads to insights, decisions, planning, and action, facilitate professional development and personal development. It's between two people. Sometimes it can be more. And that's why we're looking at some types of mentoring. We have one-on-one mentoring, we have group mentoring, we have virtual mentoring, we have reverse mentoring. All of this comes into play, but it's a collaborative learning. And that's why we are trying to look at a reciprocal way of learning, so that in some cases, you may be the mentor and you will think that, oh, I'm here to actually transfer knowledge to this individual, but you may be surprised. The case that you may be finding yourself will be a reverse mentoring. You may find yourself learning from the mentee, perhaps because of the area of concentration. Millennials today, the Gen Zs, they are familiar with technological devices. So you may find yourself learning from the mentee, and that is reverse mentoring. So it's a relationship, it's a collaborative learning. It goes beyond self-study, it goes beyond the in-class training, it goes beyond the self-study session. Let's collaborate. Let's gain some insights. Let's plan and have some action plans, some action points that can be faced over a period of time for an achievement. So a workplace mentoring program is formally structured. So we may also want to be looking at the formal mentoring and the informal mentoring. In most cases, we've seen individuals that they will tell you that, yes, I have a mentor, but I will tell you that the mentor sometimes does not even know that he has a mentee. Or some of them, they have a role model and they will think he's a mentor, whereas the mentor is not even informed, he's not aware of that particular relationship between himself and the mentee. But in the workplace mentoring program, which is the internal mentoring and coaching program we are looking at a formal structure, establishing a formal structure, a formal process that helps the transfer of knowledge, and is an initiative that matches mentors and mentees to achieve the following results. Sometimes it's to promote learning or to bring about knowledge transfer, personal and professional development, and sometimes career progression. All of these are results that comes from a formal relationship between the mentor and mentee. And it can happen in a workplace when it is formally organized. And it will be driven by you, the L&D professional, the L&D specialist. Now, an internal mentoring and coaching program is normally designed with the organizational strategic objective in mind. That is why it is formal. That's why it is structured. The strategic objective of the organization is the focal point. So we are looking at how we can actually be able to set goals that aligns with the organizational objective, that aligns with the individual objective at the same time, bringing it together. So it's meant to support succession planning. It's meant to support knowledge management. So it does not eradicate. It does not erase your trainings. It does not erase your normal self-study sessions, but it's actually there to support. Support the management, the knowledge management, support knowledge transfer, support knowledge retention, and retention of employees. I have seen cases of a mentee or of an individual that has the intention of leaving a firm, and the mentor was able to advise and coach, or the coach was able to coach the coachee on the best approach. And for that singular reason, the individual decided to stay instead of leaving the firm. That came from the formal structured relationship of a mentor and a mentee. So it helps retention. It helps leader development in the workplace. There are aspiring leaders, there are potential leaders, and that's what mentorship and coaching actually helps us to do. It helps us to develop leaders, future leaders. So mentoring and coaching programs gives individuals, especially those with leadership potential, the opportunity to focus their attention towards learning from the leaders. You are learning from the experienced individual, from someone that have actually gone through that phase, and transferring the experience to the upcoming individual. So let's quickly establish some of the difference between the mentoring and the coaching. And we must understand this difference so that we can be able to apply the right technique in the system, the right technique in the system. We must understand the difference. We must understand that both of them are actually process of learning. They are support. They are to enable learning in the system, but they come in different perspectives. It comes in terms of the roles, in terms of the responsibility, in terms of the objective, in terms of the relationship. And that's why we have to establish the difference. Now, the first one is that in mentoring, the agenda usually set by the mentee, with the mentor providing support and guidance. The objective, and that's why in the space, in the mentorship journey, we are always encouraging the mentees to actually set goals, because the mentor has already experienced, he has experience. Now the mentee wants to actually gain from the mentor, so you must set the agenda. So the agenda is set by the mentee. What exactly do you want to achieve? I have achieved this during my time. So now you are the one that wants to pass through that phase. So what exactly? What kind of support and guidance do you need from me? So the agenda usually set by the mentee, with the mentor providing the support. But in the terms of coaching, agenda is focused on achieving short-term and immediate goals and objectives. Perhaps there is a gap in performance. A coach can then step in and quickly, okay, let's quickly achieve this objective. Let me coach you on this particular task, on this particular situation. How best can you get this job done? And it's always short term. It's not for a long period of time sometimes. It's not for a long period of time. So the agenda focuses on achieving short-term goals. So as an organization, what exactly do you want to achieve? Are you pursuing a short-term goal, or you are looking at building a long-term relationship? That will help us to understand what particular system should we put in place. Should it be a coaching system, or should it be a mentoring system? In mentoring, is an ongoing relationship that can last a long time. It can last for the whole of the career of that individual, a long time. But in coaching, the relationship is generally of a set duration. I'm just going to coach you on this particular assignment, on this particular task. And mentors are usually of more experienced and more qualified than the mentee in most cases. Mentors are more experienced, more qualified, so that they can guide, they can support. But coaches doesn't need direct experience of the occupational role of the coachee. It's a matter of that particular objective, that particular task that you're trying to achieve. And that's when you need somebody to actually step in. It could be on an IT skill. I need a coach on that particular task, and it is done. And that's why it is for a short time. Long term, with a broader view of the person and their career development. But in terms of coaching, it is short term and focused on specific performance and developmental area. Mentoring can be informal, with meetings when the mentee needs specific guidance and support. But in terms of coaching, generally takes a more structured approach, with meetings scheduled with regular frequency, because we are trying to achieve a particular task, and it is for a short period of time. So what can we achieve within this short period of time can be done using coaching methodology. But in terms of long period of time, setting long-term goals, achieving a career plan or a career goal, we can achieve that through mentoring. So what particular approach are you going to set up? I'll just stop sharing for now. Let me get to see if we have questions. Do we have questions? Questions so far? Yes. Peer mentoring and reverse mentoring is here. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, Aditola, for that comment. Thank you. Do we have questions, comments? I can see thumbs up. Great stuff. We'll move fast. All right, going back to my screen. Now, let's look at some of the stakeholders in mentorship, and that's why you must understand the stakeholders in mentorship and be able to manage the stakeholders, an L&D practitioner or a professional. You must be able to manage all the stakeholders and understand what their objectives are as far as mentorship and coaching is concerned. Now we have the executive management. They are the owners of the projects. They are the ones expecting results. They are expecting change. They are expecting transformation. They are expecting employee development. They are expecting change in performance. Executive management. We have the human resource department or the learning and development unit. Now you are the one managing the process. You are the one managing the meetings, the engagements, the frequency of the engagements. You are the one designing the process. You are the one designing the scope. You are the one designing all the supporting materials. So you must be part of the system. You must be part of the project. As an elderly professional, as an human resource department, having learning and development embedded in your operation, you are part of the stakeholders in a mentorship project. We have the the human resource, the professional may not be able to assess the effectiveness from their own perspective. So you need an independent assessor to assess the effectiveness of the training.
Wow. I think his network is breaking. Hi, Ebo. Are you back? Well, I think his network is throwing him out. Okay, great. It's been a great session. I've learned, the last session we had was talking about managing your stakeholders outside of your organization, the external stakeholders that you deal with when you're creating learning. And here we are here listening to how to deal with your stakeholders, internal stakeholders. It's been so amazing. Excuse me. Yeah, the network has been breaking.
Oh,
It's
so
one
sorry.
way. Oh, great. Your network. Okay, great. So we need to wrap up now because of the next session. So I'll just give you a few minutes to do that.
Okay.
But while we do that, guys, there's a link in the chat to a LinkedIn post. Please try and repost that link to make other people aware. I'm also going to share the social media platforms for Air Lead Hub for you to engage with. Thank you. Over to you, Ebu.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to wrap up quickly. Okay, so the first in the mentorship process, after manage your stakeholders, the first point of call is to administer a mentorship training for both the mentors and the mentees. Get them trained. Let them understand the basic objective of this project. Let them understand their roles and responsibilities. Let them understand the dynamics of the mentorship project or the coaching project. It helps them to actually be able to perform their roles more effectively. Training is the first point of call. Let there be a separate training. It can be in different streams. The mentors separately, the mentees separately. I'm going to share few modules that we can actually consider when we're actually administering the mentorship training. And the next process is to match the mentors and the mentees. Let's match the experienced one. I'm going to also show few yardsticks or statistics that you may want to look at when you're actually creating your matching form for your mentors and the mentees. Match them together so they can actually be able to, they can build relationships. Then their first meeting, let there be a contract. Let there be a first meeting that helps them to set the tone for that particular relationship or for the journey, and then building the relationship. Goal setting is very, very key, and that's one of the objectives. The mentees or the coaches need to set their goals so that there can be some action plan. There can be some action plan. There can be the objective that's been pursued in the course of this journey. And finally, we need to actually manage the ending so that they can transit from a formal mentorship session to an informal mentorship session, and then carry on with the relationship. And these are some of modules that we want to consider when we actually administering a mentorship training modules in terms of understanding the organizational mentorship scheme. They need to understand, why is this scheme being established? and how do we contribute to others. And this is actually for the mentors. They must understand the concept of mentoring, the coaching, and the training. Let's see the roles that all of this learning dynamics actually play in the course of the project, and various types and forms and process of mentorship, the responsibility for the output of others, the core mentorship skills, understanding the personality as a mentor is very, very key. So you'll be able to actually manage the relationship and also be able to build on that relationship when you understand the personality and develop ability to influence others. And in terms of the mentees also, they have modules that you can actually consider when you're administering this. These are some modules that you may also want to deliver to them. Let them understand also in terms of the mentees, what are their roles? How can I depend on my mentor, on the mentors? How can I understand the concept also of mentoring, coaching, and training? And what are the benefits of this mentorship to me as a mentee? These are modules that can be covered in the course of the training. And then I just want to share quickly, let me just wrap it up with this particular notes. Now, when you're actually matching the mentors and the mentees, these are templates of what can actually help you. What are the professional experience of the mentors? What are their behavior and soft skills? This will help you to actually understand every of their skill areas, help you understand their personality, understand their professional, their professional skills, and then be able to match them with the right mentees. So we must actually establish those parameters that we want to use in matching. So we don't just bring an individual. And in most cases, in the mentoring relationship, line managers most times don't actually fall into the category of mentoring somebody that is actually in that same line. It happens in coaching. The line manager can also want to coach the subordinates, but in mentoring, we don't actually want to encourage that, because we want them to build relationship, and it's also going to be a lasting relationship. So these are some of the components that we want to consider in terms of what is the mentorship value, what is the personality of the mentor, what are the unique qualities of the mentor, and what are the recreation activities. By the time we're able to understand it from both parties, it helps us to actually be able to match the right person to the right mentor, to the right mentees, and in terms of their personality traits also. Same thing applies to the mentors. The mentees, same yardstick. What are the professional experience of the mentees? What are their behavior and soft skills? So we can be able to match the right mentor and the mentee together. What are the competency improvements or leverage that you're looking for? What are the challenges that they are facing? And what are the personality also? And finally, there is need for us to continuously have feedbacks. Feedbacks is very, very key. Feedback is very, very key. So from every mentorship session, there must be some kind of mentorship logbook. What is the date that we are reviewing? And what will your mentor, what is the developmental goal that you have established for that particular session? What are the key activities or the progress record? What are the challenges that you are facing? And what is the next action point or the next action plan? It helps us to actually manage the relationship and also be able to manage the flow over time. And as time goes on also, we can have feedback forms. We can have a midpoint feedback. If it's a 1-year mentorship program, we can have feedback either at the mid-level to see areas that needs to be adjusted. And that's where the HR and the L&D professional comes in. So these are templates that comes into play where we actually are administering, trying to set up a coaching system. And all of these tools, all of these materials, these templates, help us to actually monitor the progress and also help us to actually see areas that we can adjust and actually derive results from the session. I think I will stop here at this point. Do we have questions? Let me just take questions before I wrap up and then hand over to the next session.
That's a loaded session. Thanks, Ebun. It's great. So Olama has a comment here. Said, do you have any sample framework that can be used to propose a mentoring program for an organization? Yeah. So before you answer that question, sorry, before you answer that question, guys, I've just put up the Learning Museum for this session. That is our whiteboard for getting feedback for the session. Pick up any of these boxes, duplicate, put in your aha moment, what you have experienced, what stood out to you. If you have any question, please put in there, because we have to wrap up in like 1 minute. Put in your question and we can get back to you. After this session, watch out for the recap, and you can continue to put in your comments into this resource is going to be part of the recap you're going to receive. So please, Ebu, kindly answer the question, and then we'll close this session.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. So Olamas, yeah, a few of the things I actually displayed is like a framework of what can actually come into play. There are templates that you can actually bring into play. So one of the things you will see in the slide that we made available is the process. What are the steps that needs to be taken when you're actually proposing a mentoring program for that organization? What are the steps that need to play? What are the templates? What are the materials or the things that you need to put together when you're actually designing that coaching, that mentoring system? And it helps you to be able to see the end-to-end of that particular mentoring program. So you're not just starting without knowing what the expectations are. So you have a process, you know what you're starting with, and you know what you are ending with. And you actually can get feedback. You can design feedback forms, can help you to actually be able to manage how effective that program is over time and continuously improve. There is always room for improvement. So you can always improve. Apart from the framework that you'll be seeing in the material, you can continuously add input. As the program is actually going on, as developments are coming up, you can always add input and make it robust as you progress.
That's an excellent answer. So that brings us to the end of this session. Guys, I'm going to have to end this session now, so that the recording for this session is separate, and then we can refer to it later. Once I end the session, let's just sign back into the next session immediately. Our speaker is around and she's ready to take us. I don't know if anyone of you has heard about neurodivergence in learning. It's a topic that talks about how different people learn, how the brain works, how people have different ways that their brain process information. And I think as a learning designer, it's very important that you attend this session to be able to understand why some demographies, the different people, either young or old, they learn in different ways, and that can help you design better. And before we go, let's put in some reactions in the chat from the react button noise to appreciate Ebo for this lovely session. Let's thank him. You can use reaction. You can use the soundboard. Let's appreciate him for a